What if I told you that episode 6 of The Boys might have just set up the endgame for the entire series, and also confirmed that Homelander has officially become unstoppable? This episode was packed with insane Easter eggs, brutal satire, hidden emotional moments, and some of the darkest meta-commentary the show has ever done. From Soldier Boy finally revealing how he truly feels about Homelander, to Sage secretly manipulating literally everyone, to the terrifying reveal that Homelander is now basically immortal. Yeah, there's a lot to break down. So without wasting any time, let's get into everything you missed in episode 6. The episode opens with The Legend, the same Hollywood producer from season 3 who used to control Vought's superhero movies and propaganda machine. But now, he's working at a VMC theater serving popcorn, and VMC is very clearly a parody of AMC theaters. That's the kind of meta joke this show loves doing. And in the background, there are a bunch of fake movie posters. There's an Oh Father movie, a Firecracker movie, and even a deep popcorn bucket shaped like his mouth, similar to the giant popcorn buckets real theaters make for characters like Groot, the Sandworm from Dune, or Deadpool. It's hilarious but also disturbing because it shows how Vought commercializes literally everything. Then we get Deep reacting to Firecracker's death, and honestly, his response was unintentionally hilarious. At first he thinks she just got relocated or sent on vacation, but then Homelander says, "No room in the boat for non-believers." And that line feels like a direct Noah's Ark reference, where only loyal followers are allowed to survive. Now, one of the biggest themes of this episode revolves around Saudi Arabia and oil. The pipeline storyline is basically a giant satire of oil corporations and celebrity PR campaigns. Deep, a guy whose entire identity is supposedly loving sea life, is forced to promote an oil pipeline destroying the ocean. That hypocrisy is the entire point of his character. And when he says fish love it, it feels exactly like real-world greenwashing campaigns, where giant corporations destroy the environment while pretending they care about nature. Then we get Homelander's church commercial, and this might be one of the clearest examples yet that the show no longer treats him as just a political figure. They're portraying him like a literal messiah. The ad is intentionally shot in black and white to feel like old revolutionary documentaries and propaganda films, and the line "he challenged the man" tries to paint Homelander as some anti-establishment rebel, even though he is the establishment. The commercial also features bikers, skaters, rebellious youth, exactly the kinds of people real cults target. Outsiders, angry young people looking for purpose. Then Frenchie finally prepares the virus, and Butcher's plan is to spread it inside the church using an air freshener. And during this entire tense scene, the Legend completely changes the vibe of the room. MM is serious, Huey is stressed, but the Legend treats the entire apocalypse like old Hollywood gossip. At one point, he even calls Starlight young Ursula Andress. Now, this reference is interesting because Ursula Andress famously had cosmetic surgery later in life, so the show could either be making fun of Starlight's appearance changes or weirdly complimenting her. Honestly, with this show, it could be both. Then we finally get confirmation that the new Ashley can control bodies. A security guard asks for a code, and Ashley says ginger snap. That's probably a reference to her red hair, since redheads are often called gingers. And snap likely references how Ashley has mentally snapped multiple times throughout the series because of how insane her job is. Next, in the retirement home, there's an old Vought movie advertisement playing on TV called Engine #9. And yeah, bua! The title itself is intentionally offensive. The word engine was an old racist Hollywood slang term used for Native Americans in cartoons and Western films. This scene basically confirms that Vought has been selling racist stereotypes as family entertainment for decades. Then comes one of the episode's most important scenes. Sage tries reading Soldier Boy's mind through Ashley, expecting rage and violence, but instead she finds something completely different: a proud father. And that changes everything, because Soldier Boy is emotionally broken. He never openly expresses affection, especially not towards someone like Homelander, but deep inside, he's secretly proud that Homelander became powerful enough to make the entire world fear him, which means Homelander has spent his entire life searching for approval from his abusive father figure, and Soldier Boy actually did feel that approval the whole time. They just never communicated it. But Ashley also says she saw horrifying things inside Soldier Boy's mind, things so disturbing that she almost lost it mentally, and this is clearly setting up something darker later in the season, probably war trauma, PTSD, or horrific things Soldier Boy did in the past. Then we finally get our first real look at Bombsight, and instead of some heroic introduction, he's introduced in a ridiculous commercial selling meth-based diet pills. Classic The Boys. The ad openly says the formula contains methamphetamine, which is horrifying, but also a direct parody of real 1950s and 60s American diet culture, where dangerous stimulant pills were actually marketed to housewives. Bombsight even says you can replace breakfast with the pill, mocking old starvation-based beauty culture in America. Then Butcher, Kimiko, and MM go to kidnap Goldie from the hospital, and while they're walking through the hallway, there's a poster referencing Merchant Mariner Torpedo, one of the earliest Vought superhero teams connected to Soldier Soldier Boy and the upcoming Vought Rising series. After that, Sage intentionally gives Homelander and Soldier Boy the wrong address because she wants them to clash. And then she shows Soldier Boy footage involving Clara, someone important to both him and Homelander for completely different reasons. Soldier Boy calls Clara a doll, which perfectly reflects his toxic masculinity. He processes emotions through shame and aggression instead of empathy, but Homelander's line here is heartbreaking. "I couldn't let her go." That might genuinely be the most emotionally vulnerable line Homelander has ever said in the entire show. He openly admits he doesn't know how to process grief or attachment. Then, chaos completely explodes. Black Noir sabotages Deep's pipeline operation, causing a leak that kills 1.4 billion fish. The same pipeline Deep was publicly promoting. And after that, Deep straight up kills Black Noir. Meanwhile, Sage joins the boys temporarily to get the V1 from Bombsight, although she's obviously manipulating them. Then comes one of the deepest conversations in the episode, Goldie talking with Kimiko and Frenchie about immortality. Usually, this show treats immortality like a superpower fantasy, but here, for the first time, it asks a terrifying question. What if living forever is actually a curse? Goldie reveals Bombsight stole the V1 because he wanted them to stay together forever. To him, immortality was an act of love, but Goldie sees immortality differently. To her, it means endless loneliness. And then she says the best line in the entire episode. "Summer is only beautiful when you know winter is coming." That line completely changes the meaning of mortality, because if death doesn't exist, then moments stop mattering. And this realization hits Kimiko hard. She realizes that if she became immortal, she'd eventually have to watch Frenchie, Huey, and everyone she loves grow old and die, which is why she says, "We don't want to be vampires either." And honestly, this scene basically confirms these characters are doomed. Then, O Father meets Annie, and we learn they actually have history together. Annie reminds him that he used to be a genuinely good preacher, someone who truly believed in helping people. She even calls him her cool older brother. But O Father explains that he lost faith in God because no prayers were ever answered until Homelander appeared. Because unlike God, Homelander actually responds. Then Huey interrupts them, threatening to release the virus unless Annie is freed. But honestly, I think Huey was bluffing, because the virus was probably already released through the air freshener earlier. Then we finally meet Bombsight in person, and somehow he literally looks like a 90s Salman Khan parody. And the funniest part is that he casually carries the V1 in his pocket with an obvious giant bulge visible to everyone. Then we get another massive moment. Homelander realizes Sage manipulated him. He thought getting the V1 would finally make him an immortal god, but when he finds the hideout empty, he realizes he's being played. And then he asks, "Did I fail you?" He's most likely talking to Madeline Stillwell, who he keeps hallucinating throughout the season. At this point, the legend expects to die, but instead he stays calm and tells Homelander the truth. Every superhero in Vought follows the same cycle. They rise, they become famous, and eventually they get replaced. The legend even admits he helped build that system himself. And for the first time ever, someone talks to Homelander like a human being instead of a monster, which is why Homelander lets him live. Then Sage sends Soldier Boy after Bombsight to retrieve the V1. But instead of instantly killing him, Soldier Boy actually listens to him. Over the course of this season, we've seen more and more layers added to Soldier Boy's character. Sometimes he's a violent monster, sometimes he's a proud father, sometimes he's a broken lover, and sometimes weirdly compassionate. Then comes the ending twist. Soldier Boy finally chooses something greater than his own ego. Throughout the entire season, he secretly hated and admired Homelander at the same time. But after learning how much Clara truly believed Homelander was the ultimate evolution of humanity, Soldier Boy accepts it, and when he depowers Bombsight instead of killing him immediately, it's actually an act of mercy. Because Bombsight himself was exhausted from immortality. That entire Goldie conversation earlier, this was the payoff. Living forever isn't a blessing, it's torture. And finally, Soldier Boy gives the V1 to Homelander, even though he hates him, because at that moment, he isn't choosing Homelander. He's choosing Clara's final wish, and Sage definitely predicted all of this. She pretends to be shocked in front of Butcher, but her earlier conversation with Ashley about the apocalypse proves she already calculated every possible outcome. She even built a bunker. Her real goal was never choosing sides. Her goal was chaos. If Butcher won, chaos happens. If Homelander wins and becomes immortal, even bigger chaos happens. And now the worst possible scenario has officially happened. Homelander has taken the V1. He's now immortal. The virus probably won't work on him anymore. And Butcher is completely out of options. So now the biggest question is, what can the boys even do anymore? How do they stop someone who literally cannot die? And with only 2 episodes left, how does this series possibly end? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel because more breakdowns are coming very soon.